What's up, guys? My name is Andy.montalvo. I'm a real estate agent here in Houston, Texas with Martha Turner, Sotheby's International. And today I wanted to have a quick conversation on inspections, the importance of inspections, and kind of what inspections you can look forward to whenever you're buying a house here in Houston. Now, if you do not live here in the Houston area, still pay attention because I'm going to cover how important inspections really are. And some of these inspections might apply to the area you live in. However, depending on where you live, you may be doing different inspections than we do here in Houston. So it's always to make sure and verify with your local agents and your local inspectors to see which inspections you do need to do whenever you're buying a house in your area. Now, before we get started, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, as your support means everything to me. And I'd love to see you guys subscribing up there. I know that you guys are getting my videos and I know it's creating value for you guys. Besides that, let's get right into it with inspection. Now, if you're an experienced homeowner, you probably have done an inspection on a previous home that you've bought. And if you're a first-time home buyer, then you definitely need to pay attention because you probably have never done a house inspection on anything. Now, the main question that I get with regards to inspections is, what are house inspections? What does an inspector do whenever they go into the house? To start out with, let's answer when inspections occur during your home buying process. Inspections typically happen during your first week of your contract, where your option period lies, which is the period of time that you paid for and you asked for in the contract, where you can terminate the contract for any type of circumstance. During this time, you want to hold those inspections so you know what is actually wrong with the home, what needs to get fixed, if you need to ask for any concessions from the sellers, or if you need to negotiate on price. And you want to do this before that option period ends, so if things don't work out, you can cancel the contract and not lose your earnest money. The inspector is going to go through the house and make sure that all these items are functional, that they're not damaged, or let you know if there's anything that you need to get a second look at in order to know the integrity of whatever that inspector is looking at. You know, if it's a wall that has cracks, why are those cracks there? You know, if there is bad electrical in an area and the lights aren't turning on, or there's short circuits and stuff like that, he is going to go ahead and point out any defects that the house may have. It is important to note that an inspector will only examine that of which is visible and accessible in the house. For example, if there is a crack in the wall, the inspector is not going to go ahead and make a hole in the wall and get to the bottom of the problem. He's just going to write down in his report, there is a crack in the wall, make sure to get it double checked by a specialist. So a lot of times you will have to hire a specialist to go and check the integrity of a specific item in that house. Whether it could be the roof, it could be the plumbing, it could be the foundation, any of those things. It is important to note that the inspector will not be performing any repairs to the house that he is inspecting. He will only lay out what needs to be fixed or what problems may arise in the house to you, the buyer, in his report. After that, it is all up to you and your real estate agent to make sure that you hire the correct specialist to look at those specific items that the inspectors wanted a second look at. Now, throughout the Houston area, some common inspections that people do on top of the regular home inspections, and this is where you're hiring a specialist to come take a look at that specific thing the inspector pointed out in the house. You have plumbing specialists who will run hydrostatic tests and make sure that the plumbing underground and throughout the entire house is in good functional form. You may also be hiring a termite specialist to come check for termite damage, and possibly if things have been remedied the correct way from previous termite damage. You may also need a roofing specialist to go in and check out any roofing issues that the inspector points out. Mold inspections are also pretty common because we do have a very humid climate. Another common inspection that we have here is a stucco inspection, just to make sure that there's no water penetrating the exterior walls of your house through the stucco. There are many other things you can do, like hiring people to come check the AC units, water heaters, sprinklers. I mean, it could go endless. You could do tons and tons of inspections. And that's why the cost for inspections does vary. Inspections may cost between $500 and $1,000 depending on the size of the house and the number of inspections that you are doing on the home. Now, for much larger homes or very custom homes that may have specific materials used in the property, or may have a big piece of land or certain amenities within the house, that may require a more elaborate inspection. So your costs are just going to go up from there. The cost of an inspection all has to do with the size of the house and the number of inspections and types of inspections that you are running in that home. A lot of times good inspection companies will have their own branches of, termite inspections, plumbing inspectors, and all that kind of stuff, so you can use the same company to go through it. But it is usually advised not to use inspection companies that also do repairs, because that can create some conflict of interest when they are inspecting your house. Now, when you get that inspection report back, you, the buyer, are going to be shocked at how many things and how many pages are in that report. Always remember that it is the inspector's job to find every single flaw in that house, where there might be something so small as a burnt out light bulb that just needs a light changed, or a hole in the roof that needs a whole roofing specialist and a whole new roof on the house. Do realize that in this inspection report, you're going to be overwhelmed with information. And a lot of the stuff in there is going to be very small things to fix, very cheap things to fix that you can either do yourself or the seller can do themselves, and it's not really worth negotiating and fighting over. But you always want to pay special attention to those big ticket items that are either going to cost a lot of money to change or are going to cause future problems in the house. You will discuss all these items with your real estate agent and come up with a plan on what you want to ask from the seller in order to keep this transaction moving. And remember, if you can't come to a conclusion with the seller about if they're either going to give you money to fix these things, lower the price, or fix the problems themselves, you will still be within your option period if you have that option period to cancel that contract. So always make sure that your option period is long enough for you to run inspections and be able to negotiate the price or those inspections with the seller. Overall, home inspections are the most important thing you can do whenever you're going and buying a house. You don't want to skip out on these inspections just because of the cost, because the money that you're paying now for those inspections can save you thousands of dollars in the future. I'll tell you a little story real quick. I had a client who refused to do a plumbing inspection on their house. They were buying a house from 1970s, 80s, and they were going just based off what the seller was telling them that they redid the plumbing in the house. Well, what ended up happening there was within a few days of moving into his newly renovated home, the bathroom started flooding and pipes started bursting. Now that cost a couple of thousands of dollars in damage that could have been prevented if we would have just paid a couple $100s for a plumbing inspection. So I do stress always do the inspections. Don't just do your regular home inspections. Go ahead and do a plumbing inspection. Go ahead and get the roof inspected. Go ahead and get the cooling systems and ACs and heaters all inspected, even if it is a brand new house. And that is one thing a lot of people get wrong. They believe that just because the house is brand new and new construction, it won't have any issues. I've had inspectors themselves tell me that some of the most elaborate and longest inspection reports they have ever written have been on new construction homes. Well, guys, that is all I have for you today with regards to home inspections. Please, I do not want to leave you without any questions. So if you have any questions, put them down below. I'd love to get them answered for you. Now, if you're not in the Houston area and you would like to connect with a local real estate agent so you can go through these inspections with them and you can kind of get that knowledge from your area as to what you need to look out for when buying a houses, what kind of inspections you need to do, and what the market looks like in your area, go ahead and shoot me an email. It's going to be right here down below. Through Sotheby's, I am connected to one of the largest nationwide and worldwide networks of top-tier real estate agents that I would love to get you connected with and find you the help that you need. Now, before you head out, please do not forget to hit like and subscribe. The button is right there below. It's super easy to do. If you go down there, you just hit the thumbs up for the like, and the subscribe button is right next to it. I will continue to do a weekly video, so make sure to come back next week to see what's in store. And if you have any topics that you would like me to cover or any areas in Houston that you would like me to cover, put them down below. I'd love to get that value to you. With that said, I will see you guys next week.